You have heard the stories: a friend, a neighbor, a cousin. They went to bed feeling fine and never woke up the same. It is a terrifying thought. Yet stroke does not only strike during busy days or stressful moments. According to the American Stroke Association, nearly 1 out of every 3 strokes occurs while the person is asleep. Why does this happen? Because during the night, your body shifts into a different operating mode. Blood pressure should dip. The heart should settle. Blood should flow smoothly. And the brain should repair. But if even one of those systems is pushed off balance by a small evening habit, risk can surge without a single warning sign. Here is the hopeful truth. Nighttime stroke risk is not random. It is built slowly from repeated choices we make after sunset. Habits we rarely question because they seem harmless. In this video, I will reveal 8 common nighttime habits that quietly raise stroke risk after 65. And I will show you safe, doctor-approved swaps that protect your heart, your vessels, and your brain while you sleep. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. We will begin with the most familiar comfort of all. The salty bedtime snack that feels innocent but loads your arteries just when they should be resting. Part 1. Salty late-night snacks. The quiet blood pressure spike. You are winding down. Dinner ended hours ago. Yet your stomach whispers for a little something. A can of soup. A few crackers. A couple of slices of deli meat. Maybe a small plate of cheese. It seems harmless. But for older adults, this tiny choice may secretly load the bloodstream with sodium at the worst possible time. Many convenience foods are sodium traps. Store-bought soups can carry 800 to 1,200 milligrams per serving. Processed meats and cheeses add several hundred more. The problem is not only the total number, it is timing. Kidneys slow at night. So excess sodium stays in your bloodstream, drawing water, increasing blood volume, and raising vascular pressure just as you lie down. That elevated pressure is not evenly risky throughout the day. Studies consistently show that a large share of strokes occur between the early morning hours of about 4 to 6, a window when blood pressure should be dipping. If you ate a salty snack late, your natural nocturnal dip may be blunted or reversed, creating a surge that strains fragile vessels in the brain. You will not feel it. There's no pain, only thicker blood, higher pressure, and a greater chance of a clot forming or a weakened vessel rupturing during sleep. There is a better way. Set a salt curfew after dinner. If hunger hits, choose a small bowl of fresh berries, a handful of unsalted nuts, or half an avocado on whole grain toast. These choices provide potassium, fiber, and healthy fats that counter sodium's effects, support vascular function, and gently stabilize nighttime blood pressure. If you want something warm, make a quick homemade broth-based soup using low-sodium stock, leafy greens, mushrooms, and herbs. You can throw it together in 10 minutes and avoid the sodium shock of canned versions. Place salty packaged foods on a higher shelf or in a closed bin to reduce impulse reaches. Keep a visible fruit bowl on the counter. Your brain chooses what it sees. If this surprised you, wait until you hear about another night habit many seniors adopt to avoid bathroom trips, a habit that thickens blood and quietly invites clots. Part 2. Skipping evening hydration. Thicker blood while you sleep. Many older adults avoid drinking water after dinner to prevent nighttime bathroom trips. The intention is understandable. The effect is risky. Going to bed even mildly dehydrated reduces plasma volume, thickens blood, and slows flow through already narrowed vessels. During long periods of sleep, when movement is minimal and circulation naturally eases, thicker blood is more likely to stagnate in tight channels, increasing the chance of clot formation, especially in those with atrial fibrillation, carotid narrowing, or a prior transient ischemic attack. Aging kidneys compound the problem. They filter more slowly and retain sodium more readily. Dehydration plus sodium retention create a high-pressure, low-flow environment that pushes risk upward overnight. You do not need to chug water before bed. Flooding your bladder will cost you rest and increase fall risk on midnight trips. Instead, use a gentle hydration rhythm. Sip 6 to 8 ounces of water about 1 hour before bedtime, preferably room temperature or warm. Add a slice of lemon or cucumber for a light electrolyte lift. Then use the restroom immediately before you get into bed. If you take diuretics, talk with your clinician about timing. A morning dose may reduce nocturnal urination and improve sleep continuity. For those with heart failure or kidney disease, follow your clinician's guidance on evening fluids. Hydration also comes from foods. Include high water produce at dinner. Cucumbers, tomatoes, leafy greens, zucchini, and citrus segments provide fluids without burdening the bladder. Another protective habit is the bedside sip. Keep a small cup within reach for a tiny drink if you awaken dry-mouthed, but avoid finishing the cup. You are aiming for comfort, not a full refill. If you regularly wake with a headache, dry mouth, or a racing pulse that may signal nighttime dehydration, adjust your 1 hour pre-bed sip and discuss with your clinician, especially if you have a history of kidney stones or clotting issues, because the goal at night is simple. Keep blood moving, keep vessels relaxed, and let the brain receive the oxygen it needs. Which brings us to a deceptively common mistake: lying down too soon after eating. Part 3. Lying down after dinner. Reflux, pressure surges, and restless sleep. You finish dinner, feel drowsy, and settle into your favorite recliner or slide into bed to watch a show. This innocent routine undermines two systems you depend on: digestion and blood pressure regulation. When you recline soon after eating, stomach contents can reflux into the esophagus. For many older adults, this is not just heartburn. It is a physiologic stressor that elevates sympathetic tone, raises heart rate, and can push blood pressure upward at precisely the time it should be drifting down. Nocturnal reflux also fragments sleep, reducing deep restorative stages that lower inflammation and stabilize vascular tone. Observational research has linked late dinners and short dinner to bedtime intervals, with higher odds of nocturnal hypertension and poorer cardiovascular markers. The fix is simple and powerful. Finish your evening meal at least 2.5 to 3 hours before lying flat. After eating, take a 10-minute gentle walk. Even a slow loop around the home stimulates peristalsis and improves postprandial glucose and lipid handling, easing the workload on vessels overnight. If you are truly exhausted, rest in a seated position with your torso elevated and hips flexed at about a right angle, rather than fully reclining. Elevating the head of the bed by 4 to 6 inches can also reduce reflux if nighttime symptoms persist. Choose dinner components that are reflux-friendly. Emphasize baked fish, beans, steamed vegetables, and whole grains. Limit heavy fried foods, large portions of cheese, and spicy sauces late in the evening. For those who take nighttime medications, ask your clinician whether an earlier dosing schedule would maintain efficacy while lowering reflux risk. Keep a light, low-acid snack available if you truly must eat later, such as a ripe banana, a few spoonfuls of plain yogurt, or a small bowl of oatmeal. Your mantra is simple: digest first, then rest. Because your brain heals best when your gut is quiet and your vessels are calm. Now let us confront a habit with a soothing reputation that often backfires after sunset. The nightcap. Part 4. The nightcap myth. Alcohol's rebound effect on blood vessels. For decades, people have been told that a small glass of red wine might be heart-friendly. Context and timing matter. In the evening, especially close to bedtime, alcohol disrupts the very systems that protect the brain overnight. Alcohol initially dilates blood vessels, which can feel relaxing. Then comes the rebound. As alcohol is metabolized, sympathetic activity rises, vessels constrict, and blood pressure can surge during early morning hours. Alcohol also fragments sleep, suppress restorative deep stages, and worsens sleep apnea. A powerful and under-recognized driver of nighttime strokes. Even a modest drink late can raise the likelihood of oxygen dips, rhythm instability, and early morning pressure spikes, particularly in adults over 60 with existing vascular risk. Safer strategies preserve the ritual without the risk. If you enjoy alcohol, shift it earlier, ideally with food at late afternoon or early evening, and limit to a single standard drink on days you choose to partake. Avoid all alcohol within 3 to 4 hours of bedtime. Replace the nightcap with calming, non-alcoholic rituals. A warm herbal infusion like chamomile or lemon balm can support relaxation without depressing breathing. A short gratitude journaling practice or 10 slow cycles of diaphragmatic breathing lowers cortisol and steadies heart rate. If you notice next day grogginess, palpitations, or headaches after even small evening drinks, take that as data from your body. The message is not deprivation. It is precision. Choose timing that respects how your vessels behave at night. Protect the hours when your brain is most vulnerable, because sleep is not a break from health. It is the zone where your choices show their truest effects. Speaking of sleep, the next habit is one many accept as normal with age. Yet it quietly drives risk upward. Part 5. Short, fragmented sleep. When repair never fully begins, you toss, you turn, you wake at 3 and cannot fall back asleep. It is frustrating. Yet the consequences reach beyond fatigue. During healthy sleep, blood pressure dips, heart rate slows, and the brain's lymphatic system clears metabolic waste. When sleep is short or fragmented, that repair cycle stalls, cortisol remains elevated, inflammatory signals rise, and nocturnal blood pressure fails to dip. A pattern called non-dipping that is strongly associated with early morning strokes. Research in older adults shows that regularly getting less than about 6 hours of quality sleep is linked to significantly higher stroke risk, especially when combined with diabetes, hypertension, or a prior transient ischemic attack. You can invite deeper sleep with simple, Consistent cues. Keep a steady sleep and wake schedule every day. Anchor your bedtime and wake time within the same 60-minute window, even on weekends. Create a wind-down ritual that starts 1 hour before lights out. Dim household lights. Lower the thermostat and switch to quiet. Low stimulation activities. Avoid heavy meals. Caffeine, chocolate, and nicotine in the late afternoon and evening. If you wake frequently to urinate, ask your clinician about medication timing and screen for sleep apnea, particularly if you snore, wake with dry mouth, or feel unrefreshed despite adequate time in bed. Practice the 4-7-8 breath or box breathing to settle the nervous system. Inhale calmly, pause gently, and exhale longer than you inhale. This extended exhale activates the parasympathetic system and encourages a drop in heart rate and pressure. Treat the bedroom as a sanctuary. Cool, dark, and quiet. If environmental noise is unavoidable, use a simple fan or white noise. Protect your sleep as you would protect a prescription medication, because its dose and timing determine its power. Now let us turn to a glowing disruptor that sits on so many nightstands. The late night screen. Part 6. Late night screens. Blue light and emotional spikes. The smartphone or tablet that feels like company in the evening is a double hit to the systems that guard your brain overnight. First is blue light. Short wavelength light from screens suppresses melatonin, the hormone that signals your body to wind down. With melatonin blunted, your heart rate stays elevated and your blood pressure fails to dip. Second is content. News feeds, endless videos, and social comparisons trigger emotional arousal. That arousal lifts sympathetic tone and can produce measurable nighttime pressure spikes. For older adults, these surges land on vessels that may already be stiffened or narrowed. The fix is practical and kind. Set a screen curfew of 1 hour before bed. Place devices to charge outside the bedroom or at least face down across the room. If you must use a device near bedtime for a brief task, enable night shift or a blue light filter and use the lowest brightness possible. Replace scrolling with soothing sensory inputs. Read a paper book. Listen to soft instrumental music. Or enjoy a 10-minute progressive muscle relaxation. Use a warm tone nightlight for safe trips to the bathroom. If loneliness drives the evening scroll, schedule an early evening call with a friend or family member. Connection earlier, calm later. You do not need to eliminate technology. You need to put it in its proper place so your vessels can do what they are designed to do at night. Relax and repair. Which brings us to a habit almost no one monitors. Yet it explains why so many strokes occur before sunrise. Part 7. Ignoring nighttime blood pressure. The silent surge. Many seniors own a blood pressure cuff and check readings in the morning or during clinic visits. Few consider checking before bed. That is a missed opportunity. Blood pressure is not static. After stressful days, salty meals, missed medications, or pain, your nighttime reading can run high without symptoms. If your pressure fails to dip at night, or if it spikes in the early morning, your stroke risk climbs. This pattern, often called nocturnal hypertension or morning surge, is linked to a large proportion of sleep-related and shortly after waking strokes. You can change this story. Keep a simple blood pressure log that includes an evening reading a few nights each week. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Feet on the floor, back supported, arm at heart level, and record 2 readings 1 minute apart. Share this log with your clinician. It is far more informative than an occasional clinic reading. Never skip evening medications. especially those for blood pressure, cholesterol, clot prevention, or rhythm control. Even if you feel fine, if a dose time causes side effects, ask about alternatives rather than skipping. Reduce evening triggers. Avoid heavy, salty, or processed meals. Keep caffeine to the morning. Build a short wind down. Walk into your routine. Monitor and treat pain. Since pain itself raises pressure, for those with diabetes, avoid large late glucose excursions by choosing balanced dinners and modest protein, rich snacks if needed. A single quiet step, like a nighttime blood pressure check and a note in a log, can change a prescription, adjust a dose, and lower risk precisely when it matters most. Finally, let us address two overlooked realities: how you position your body and whether anyone notices if trouble begins. Part 8. Unsafe sleep positions and sleeping unseen. Circulation, kinks, and delayed rescue. Sleeping face down or with your neck rotated sharply for hours can compress arteries in the neck, reduce venous return, and subtly impair blood flow, especially in those with carotid narrowing or cervical arthritis. For people with sleep apnea, certain positions increase airway collapse, driving oxygen dips and pressure surges that strain cerebral vessels. Favor side sleeping with a neutral neck position supported by a pillow that fills the shoulder to ear space without forcing flexion or rotation. If you have known apnea, use your prescribed device consistently. And ask about positional therapy that discourages back sleeping if it worsens events. The second reality is sobering. Many older adults sleep alone. If a stroke begins at night, there may be no witness to slurred speech, limb weakness, or a fall from bed. Minutes can turn to hours before help arrives, transforming a treatable event into a life-altering injury. You can maintain independence and build safety nets. Consider a discreet wearable alert that detects falls or unusual stillness and can send an automated call for help. Keep a charged phone within arm's reach, on a stable bedside table, not across the room. Share a simple check-in plan with a neighbor or family member, such as a morning text by a set time. If no message arrives, they call. Leave a visible list of medications and conditions by the phone for responders. Before bed, take 10 seconds to notice how you feel. A new headache, unusual dizziness, chest fluttering, or vision changes deserve attention. Tell someone if you feel off, even if you think it is minor. Awareness and companionship, even at a distance, are powerful shields. Because at night, your brain depends on two things: uninterrupted blood flow and timely help if flow falters. Protect both with small, thoughtful steps. Doctor's final words. Stroke after 65 is not a roll of the dice. It is the sum of countless small choices added up across evenings and nights. Salty late snacks, and skip sips of water. Lying down too soon after dinner. A nightcap that steals deep sleep. Glowing screens that stir the nervous system. Unmeasured nighttime pressure. Kinked neck positions. And sleeping unseen. None of these feels dramatic. Yet together, they push vessels harder when they should be resting. The hopeful news is that prevention lives in the same small choices. A low sodium swap, a gentle glass of water an hour before bed, a 10-minute digestion walk, an earlier toast or herbal tea, a screen curfew, an evening blood pressure check, a neutral side sleeping posture, and a simple check-in system with someone who cares. Your brain still remembers how to heal. Give it the conditions it needs through the night, and it will repay you with clearer mornings, steadier steps, and sharper memories. Share this video with someone you love who sleeps alone, who keeps soup cans in the pantry, or who believes poor sleep is just part of aging. Now, I would love to hear from you. Tell me one small change you will make tonight to protect your brain while you sleep. If you enjoyed this video, comment 1. If not, comment 0. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Sleep wisely. Hydrate gently. Lower the salt. Quiet the screens. Measure what matters. And give your future self the gift of another strong morning.